legt die Hausfrau nachts die Kette vor. Im Korridor steh ich davor, mit der Pfeile ohne Eile keck, weil ich sie weg, da liegt der Dreck.
Guten Abend, Ermittler und Ermittlerin, und willkommen zu unserem Video-Podcast Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is The Devil Eats Flies. It was written by David Larkin, Mike Mason, and Lynn Hardy, and it's part of a collection entitled Berlin, the Wicked City. It's available from Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is Keith Craig, and this is going to be episode 1. So, without any further delay, lasst uns in die Dunkelheit riesen. Keith?
Thank you, Tom. Welcome to Berlin, June 1922. The country is in turmoil. The failed Kapp Putsch of 1920 has further inflamed the political divisions that were exposed due to the 1918 revolution. The Great War reparations has created an untenable position. The government, in response, became the first non-communist power to recognize the Soviet government as the proper rulers of Russia, enraging the far right of Germany. However, still unable to make payments, the government began printing money, starting what became known as the Great Inflation. A mark which traded at 100 to the dollar in January now trades at over 1,000 to the dollar, and the inflation rate is increasing rapidly. The loss of people's life savings and hope has fed a hedonistic lifestyle into the country's citizens. Into this chaos strode Karl Grossman, a sadistic child molester, a cannibalistic torturer, and serial killer. He was arrested 10 months ago and is currently in jail as we meet our investigators. We'll hand it over to Hans for his intro.
Yeah, I am Hans Vogelschwulke. I am a forensic medicine doctor. I studied at the University of Leipzig under Tove Havelstad, and I have moved to Berlin after the death of my wife, and I ended up finding this group, and we try to solve these mysteries. We call ourselves the Beobachter. That is it for me.
Thank you. Max?
My name is Max Hoffman, and I am a journalist. I am from Berlin. I'm 21 years old. I spent the war working in a munitions factory where I made munitions for our soldiers. I spent my time working in the factory along with many leftist type political organizations, many workers' parties. I wrote many articles in support of our causes, and that piqued my interest in journalism. And so I got in with this group to investigate even further and make my name in the world of journalism. So.
Excellent. Astrid?
Hello, my name is Astrid Chibika Schneider. I was born in the German colony of Cameroon, but emigrated to Berlin with my mother in 1905. I'm 20 years old. I was raised in a liberal aristocratic home. My father was a colonizer and took pity on my mother and I received an excellent education. I speak perfect German and am fluent in French. I was a teenager during the war, but I have been involved in radical pacifist politics since the Bolshevik Revolution. I identify as a Trotskyist. I currently work for Dr. Magnus Hirschfield's Institute for Sexual Research in Berlin as a research assistant and translator. I'm an artist, a sculptor, and an aspiring antiquarian. On evenings, I spend lots of time in the clubs and am visible there. I'm known for keeping secrets and having connections into the world of sex workers and people living on the margins. And so this group piqued my interest with their interest in some of the crimes that have been impacting this population.
Excellent. Otto?
Good evening. My name is Otto Richter. I am what some people would consider on the fringe of society. I am a veteran of the Great War, where my brother died, leaving me without family. And I spend my days mostly asleep and my nights in the clubs where I arrange for citizens to find whatever it is they need to find: entertainment, information, various substances. I am well liked and known in many communities, and the significant scar on my face tells friends and strangers both that I am perhaps a little dangerous and perhaps a little interesting. Yeah.
Gustav.
Yeah, I'm Gustav Huberman, or Huberman. I was a rifleman in the Great War on the Eastern Front. I eventually became a sniper. I unfortunately sustained I was in a blast. So the left side of my neck and arm are badly sort of burned and scabbed up. I lost a couple of friends and a cousin or two in the war, and I do not like that kind of thing. I try to avoid conflict when possible, but if it happens, I know what to do. I now work as a bounty hunter and tracker and investigator of sorts. I was born to a poor family, just a little bit outside of Berlin, and I now work there with the rest of the crew and this group because I'd like to. I'm also interested in, of course, the crime and I need the work. It's not the best time as far as economy wise. So.
Excellent. Sounds like a good group. So we will begin. It is June 21st, 1922. And can I get everyone to make a luck roll?
Start off straight. Start off and be good.
Yeah, that's right.
Not this turkey. 68.
69. Lucky 69.
I got 27.
All right.
I passed that.
All right. Sounds good. And then everyone give me a power check.
Nope.
That was not so good. I got an 80 on that one.
12, which is exactly extreme.
All right. And Max, how'd you do?
I failed.
You failed. And Astrid?
I passed. 73.
Passed. All right. So Hans, Astrid, and Otto, you have been, you had a restless night sleeping. Your dream was incredibly vivid last night. All of you experienced a first-person vision. You're entering into a crowded nightclub that is painted red. The air is filled with cigarette smoke and the atmosphere is lively. A prostitute, obviously just newly arrived, approaches you, smiles and coos. You look at her, and when you reach out, you see that your hand is not your hand. It is an older gentleman's hand. However, you're not reaching out to greet her. You push her cruelly out of the way because you spot a pretty Slavic girl in simple garbs. She seems like she would be a much easier chase. And then you wake up. Now, your group has regularly been meeting for lunch at the cafe in the Romanische Square. And you plan to meet there, as Gustav says that he recently got a telegram informing us about a new possible job you could have.
Should we get some good work for us all?
Yeah.
I'm very interested. Tell us more.
Welcome news indeed.
Yeah.
Any cigarettes? Cigarettes?
Danke.
Prince Gabriel Konstantinovich desires the pleasure of your company tonight at 8 p.m. to discuss a matter of extreme delicacy. Room 415, the Eden Hotel, Kufermusterdam, 246, 247. Apologize my attempt there.
Oh, it went fine.
Prince Gabriel, he's the exiled Russian prince.
Indeed.
Escaped from the communists during the takeover.
He's lucky he left with his head.
Indeed. I hear he's actually quite a nice person.
Well,
We'll see about that.
The waitress comes over. She's like going, may I take your order?
Yeah. I'll have Fleischsalat und the Schnitzel.
Oh, yes. Would you like to pay now or risk a price increase over lunch?
Yeah, we'll pay now.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
What is that? 40 million Deutschmarks?
Oh, the way it's going, unfortunately, it might be, but right now it's only 5,000 Deutschmarks.
Okay.
And Spätzle bitte.
Oh, yes.
Cafe au lait, please.
Oh, of course. And she takes all your orders. I assume you pay in advance. The cafe is a little lively. You notice across the street, no shock there. The office girls are showing up. Some have been putting on a little garish rogue, hoping to turn a trick through the over the lunch hour to earn a little bit of money. Rolling down the street, you see a disabled veteran on a cart with his cup, shaking it, hoping to get some money out of there. And generally, chalkboards everywhere with the latest trading price. And you can see even after you pay that they're erasing it and changing it from 1,000 marks to the dollar to 1,100 marks to the dollar. But the cafe is quite crowded by various artistes and all. And the food comes. It's quite tasty, as this is a well picked out one. And while you're there, you hear a newspaper boy yelling out, "Grossman escapes justice! Grossman escapes justice! Get your copy here!"
Yeah, I'll take one over here.
Oh.
Goes,
Wunderbar.
oh, yes. He's like, he looks over at the sign and sees the trading. He's like, that'll be 600 marks.
Yeah, I'll pull it out and hand it over. Danke.
Mädchenfänger escaped?
No, he was found dead in a cell. And on the front page, when he hands it over to Gustav, you see blazed across the front page this article here of Carl Grossman found dead in a cell.
But died. Probably somebody killed him.
Who among our readers will not shudder at the memory of the infamous and outrageous of the beast of Silesian Station, Carl Grossman, arrested 10 months ago in his flat at Langstrasse 8889. The fiend was found with the body of a murdered woman, a destitute thing lured into the spider's lair with promises of cash and food. Instead, she met her death, but not before her screams and thrashing attracted the notice of the building's neighbors. Police found the poor creature in Grossman's kitchen, stripped naked and tossed up like a hog for butchering. Indeed, Inspector Krieg of the Criminal Police noted extensive apparatus of meat processing and sausage making in Grossman's apartment.
Dear God.
The Devereux claimed that this was merely owing to his career as a butcher, but persistent rumors claim otherwise. His neighbors recall that during the starving days of 1917 to 1918, Grossman seemed to be quite well for himself, selling homemade sausages at Silesian Station. Silesian Station. At the time, there was much speculation as to where he procured this meat, but nowadays most shudder to contemplate the question. Inspector Krieg found evidence in the form of bloodstains sufficient for the courts to charge Grossman with 2 other lust murders, and the perverted criminal who spent 14 years in jail prior to the war on charges of illicit activities with children went on trial 4 days ago. Today, the judge was expected to announce a guilty verdict in the matter of the 3 murders committed at Grossman's hand, but the reprobate was found hanging from his bedsheet inside this jail cell this very morning.
Oh. That sometimes we don't get justice.
Indeed, he
Just
cheated us all of the opportunity to put an end to his monstrosity ourselves.
Think of all the other grossmans out there that are doing these things to poor innocent women, and it shudders. It's horrible, just horrible.
Well, I imagine it's got to be kind of a rare thing, huh? I mean,
Such madness.
somebody like this man.
Yeah.
Talk to any of those women over there, Doctor, and they will tell you that there are many evil men that lurk in Berlin streets.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of exposing themselves to the underbelly of society. But even with crimes and the horrors that go on in the world, few of them can match Grossman. How many women has he killed over the years now that they're looking into this? 100?
Yes.
And he grinds them up
so.
into sausages and sells them. Jesus
Disgusting.
Christ. Gott in Himmel.
Gott in Himmel.
Well,
While you guys are discussing that, a couple cars pull up, and a couple of smartly dressed in custom dark gray military-style uniforms men get out. Many of them are pockmarked from gas scars, and all wear a pewter badge pinned to their left sleeve depicting the Viking longship, which anyone that's lived in Berlin in the 1920s recognizes as the Ehrhardt Brigade, which was a far-right supporters of the counter-revolution of 1920. They start striding over, and you see their leader is a rather heavy-set man in a uniform with a riding whip tucked under his arm. The other patrons kind of boo and hiss the right-wing militia. He gladly salutes them with his riding crop and then starts leading them in a rather racist copulet against the Jews.
Disgusting trash.
Say, are you? Have you all finished eating yet? Perhaps we have.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done.
Yes, let us leave. Suddenly lost my appetite.
As you as you start getting up, one of the men comes over and he draws a swastika onto your table with the tea that you were drinking. He dips his finger in it and draws a swastika, but turned the opposite way that the Nazi party did. So then he looks at you and smiles with a rather leering look.
Astrid spits at his feet.
He smiles and he says, I told you, brethren, these leftists can't stand up for themselves. This is why we will one day rule again.
Let's just go.
We've got work to do.
Astrid winks at him, says, I'll see you around.
He goes, yes, hopefully you'll regret the day you meet me in the dock. It's people like you that have that stabbed us in the back in the war.
Oh, we did far worse in the war.
You guys disengage. The man with the riding crop watches you closely, but then he, as a fisticuffs outbreak at another table, he strides over and then starts whipping the other patron and the militia member. He goes, order, order, order.
Let's go.
Yeah.
If we did not have an important appointment, I think I could spend a couple of days locked up for thrashing this monstrous fool.
I am getting too old to get involved in all of this craziness. We need to.
wander off, you do hear the police sirens in the background, and so passes another typical lunch break in Berlin.
Yeah.
What would you like to do for the rest of the day before your appointment with the Prince Kostinovich?
I think it's probably a good idea if we do some research, learn some more about the prince, see if we can think of what he might be asking us to look into before we even get there.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm curious, Gustav, how he knew to get in touch with you.
I suppose I think I have some postings up about my services, and perhaps that I have other people that I can call in, that if you're willing to hire us all.
No,
Yeah,
but you don't know him personally.
I do not know him personally. No, I'm just I'm there's some I'm on some postings and in some books as a tracker and bounty hunter.
Mm.
Well, we are getting a bit of a reputation, that Atelier Mella case last year that we worked on.
Oh yeah, that was very good. Yeah.
Yeah. We got into the papers, so they know. Yeah, let's see what we can find out about the Prince Konstantinovich.
All right. Yep. So go to the library or something to look that up, or maybe beat the. There is a large Russian population in Berlin as people fled the communists.
Yeah, I think we just ask friends and people that we know, and we probably know a lot of people.
Yeah, you do.
Between us, yeah.
So you, as you ask around, with a little dedicated ask around, you do find out that Prince Kostinovich was a distant member of the Tsar family. He fled, and his last known location was in France, actually in Paris. So the Russian population did not know that he was here in Berlin at the time.
Yeah.
So he comes from royalty.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to want
Obviously.
us to look for some member of the royal family. A lot of them escaped.
Also, many of them perished.
Well,
I
yeah.
hope we don't have to present him with unpleasant news, because he might have deep pockets.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I imagine it must be difficult going from ruling a country to running for your life. The Romanovs were not exactly terrible people. It was Lenin and the Bolsheviks were brutal.
I think the serfs would care to disagree with you, Doctor.
There are other ways of handling it. It was not unlike the reign of terror in Paris in the 1700s. They just slaughtered everyone.
I think that most people would agree that the guillotine got more use than was strictly necessary.
As the American revolutionaries are fond of saying, sometimes the tree of liberty requires blood to replenish its roots.
Well, I require beer and wine also.
Yeah.
And so I hope the prince is good for a little bit of scotch.
I do not mind taking the nobleman's money if I can put it to good use.
Then we split the difference, yes? We're both happy to have employment from royals.
Indeed.
Yeah. Remember that somebody as even distant relatives as the Tsar Nicholas, he's going to have some kind of money but he's going to think he has nothing at all, because so much that he's lost compared to what he has now. He only has one or two palatial chateaus instead of 17. But you know what?
Yes.
I've heard on the grapevine he's actually a rather nice fellow. He was actually quite against his own family. I think that he's married outside of the royalty, which they all, forbid him to do, but he did it anyway.
A romantic.
And he married somebody I've heard she's not exactly very attractive, but she's extremely intelligent, very witty conversation. He married her because he loves her. So, who can say? Maybe he's a nice guy. Certainly better than those shitheads in the military bumpkins. So you said beer. Where's the beer? Let's go get some beer.
Wunderbar. Well, you make it to the beer garden. There are plenty around, of course. And they will happily serve you at a fine trading rate of 11.50 marks to the dollar. Of course, though, if you have dollars or pounds, then that makes it much easier for them.
I don't even know what a dollar looks like.
Yeah.
Strange green American money.
Yeah. Well, the beer is quite tasty, as all German beer is, and you're going to hang out there till 8. We'll say that you have a liter or two, and then it starts going into the evening. Now it is in June, near the solstice, so of course the sun is still up, and it probably won't set until 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight.
All right. So we are arriving.
Yep. The Eden Hotel is quite a beautiful hotel. Caters to definitely the city's rich visitors that come in. As you enter in, the American Bar und Grill is quite hopping. You hear more Russian spoken there than German. If you approach the elevator, the bellhop greets you and goes, what floor? His room 415 was the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gustav is 4.
4.
Oh, yes. He takes you up to the top floor of the hotel, and he goes, here you go. And he puts out his hand in request for a tip.
Yeah, I'll tip him. Give him a few hundred.
Few hundred. Oh, thank you. I should be able to park my horse with this.
Bitte.
You could wallpaper your house with that.
So surely. So you walk down to the room 415. It is a large double door for it, and you're outside of its door. No. So you stand there for a while, and right about the time you almost feel like you need to knock again, he opens up, and a obvious servant opens the door, and he looks at you all, and then he's like, do any of you speak Russian?
9. Probably have a couple of words like spasiba and
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
I was on the other front myself.
Yeah, he makes a little indication to enter. As you come in, it is a lavish, large suite, has a large window overlooking the Berlin Zoo, which is quite lovely with the green and golden late evening sun. He has a full stocked bar, and the servant opens up a humidor on the table and offers each of you cigars. Astrid, he offers you a cigarette.
She takes the cigarette.
Then he speaks to you in Russian, but you guys don't understand it.
Parlez-vous français?
Then he almost ignores you, but he does indicate where the lighters are for the smokes.
Спасибо.
I hope we are going to be able to communicate.
After sitting there for a little bit, you hear the bedroom door open, and you see this man walk in in a full Royal Russian regalia. He is just buttoning up the top button on his coat, and he speaks to you in German. He's like, "Oh, welcome, welcome." He's like going, "Please forgive Fedor. He does not. He only speaks Russian. He was unable to communicate. I assume I see he got you something to smoke. Would you like something to drink?"
That would be nice.
I am Prince Gabriel Kostinovich. I assume that one of you is Gustav, Gustav Huberman? Ah, yes, excellent. You came highly recommended. Oh,
thank you.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Yes, sir. The pleasure's all ours.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. He's like, but please, where are my manners? What would you like to drink?
Anything you are having, I will have happily.
Oh, well, in Russia we drink a vodka. So we
This
will.
is a custom I have heard of. Yes.
He yells at him in Russian. Fedor snaps to attention, goes over, and he pours glasses of vodka for everyone. He's like going, just vodka.
Made from potatoes, yeah?
Yes, that is true. Although you can make vodka from almost anything, but potatoes are usually the best. He's like going, but first, a toast to hopefully a very profitable and successful working relationship.
So, Prost.
And he slams it down without it. He's like going, of course. So you are all probably wondering why I have called you here. He's like going, I have a need for people of your skills. I believe that you may aid me and the parties that I represent in a most macabre investigation. You're all no doubt aware of the great tragedy that befell Tsar Nicholas and his family. May the saints bless him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Crosses himself.
Rest in peace.
Yes. Those Bolsheviks slime, they gunned down the royal family. I have personally visited the site, in disguise, of course, so they couldn't find me. And I confirmed that the royal family was there. I have seen the bullet holes. I put my finger in them. I saw the blood that they haphazardly tried to clean up. I took photographs. Here, see these photographs. Look. And he gets out a photograph of one of the wall. You can see the bullet holes, and then one of a journal. He goes, here, you see the photograph? Look at the marking on the wall. Her good luck symbol. And then the journal, another, the same, the swastika. Her good luck symbol. It has to be hers.
Whose good luck symbol do you mean?
I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of myself.
This is an ancient Indian symbol, is it not?
Yes. But the Tsarina was quite fond of it.
Yeah.
I've heard that the Tsars were interested in the occult.
Yes, unfortunately, she was more fascinated with it than was good, and that devil Rasputin was able to worm his way into the family.
I see. And what particular interest did she have in Indian mysticism?
Oh, I think it was more of a, she just believed it was more of a good luck, similar to how the Americans like a horseshoe, I believe,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter.
And
I
this
see.
this personal book, this diary, is, you believe, was her possession?
I believe it was, and it was hidden away. There's no way that the Bolsheviks would have hidden that away. Someone that cared either hid it away, or there was a survivor.
I'm sorry. I seem to have misunderstood. Do you believe the journal belongs to the Tsarina?
Well, I am getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Have you seen the papers today about the monster killing himself?
Der
Yes.
von Berlin. Yeah, the Grossman.
Yes, yes. The papers reported that this Grossman recorded names of women, possibly his victims, in his journal. One such name was Sansnovsky. This name likely means nothing to you, but it means a great deal to me and other interested parties. We believe it may refer to a Polish peasant girl calling herself Franziska Szamanowska, or something similar. The date in Grossman's journal is from over 2 years ago. Too much time has passed to gain a real answer, yet I must try. I must try. I ask you, with the murderer now dead in his cell and the answer to our question seemingly out of reach, will you help me to your best of the ability? I must learn whether Grossman did indeed murder this Francesca Szamanowska in February of 1920. I am happy to pay you all a daily rate of £3, and I will pay you in pounds sterling, so it will be worth it.
Hmm. May I ask, what is this Stanislavski's relationship to you?
Well, she might be a relation to me. I'm not sure. She would be about 19 years old when she met the monster. She'd been petite and strawberry blonde, and she is who we think she may be, which might be able to infer, but I'm not at liberty to say due to my financier's interests. But if she is who I think she may be, then anyone will remember her that met her.
So you say she was 19 2 years ago, and that is how long she's been missing?
Yes.
So she'd be 21.
And you think that she was traveling under an assumed name because perhaps she was part of a family that was in flight?
I knew that. I knew that we had found the right group. You are inferring very quickly, Monsieur.
Yeah. You have, what is the most current photograph you have of this would-be Zhumanovska?
And sadly, I do not have a photograph of her. The only photograph I have is of her as a child.
A beautiful young strawberry blonde. And do you have a specific reason to believe that she met this Grossman?
Yes, because
The name is
his name.
The name was in his name was in her name was in the journal.
And was this journal published because of after his trial or something? Is this common?
No, it is not. I have contacts in the police force who have seen the journal, that the police still have it. I don't know what they intend to do with it now that there won't be any need for more trials.
There might be something that Max can worm his way in to find out. He's a journalist.
Certainly try.
So, Your Highness? Do we call you Your Highness?
Oh, no need for that. No, oh yeah, Excellency is fine, but please, just Prince Kostanovich is fine. Just Prince.
would you think these police officers would be willing to speak with us?
He's like, I assumed you've had interactions
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, I've probably worked with them before.
Yeah.
A couple more questions, though. This woman, do you know when she left Russia and came here?
She would have. Make sure I get that right. She would have left Russia in 1917 when she ended up in possibly Poland. That's when she began using the name Sanofsky. Other times she used the last name Tchaikovsky, as I'm sure all of you are familiar with our great composer.
Pyotr Tchaikovsky, yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so we'll need to see if we can trace her, see if we can find where she ended up, and if it was near, in fact, to Karl Grossman.
Yes, indeed. I hope that she's still alive. From what I understand, Grossman did not kill all his victims. He liked to play with them like a cat.
Oh, you think she might still be alive?
I hope so. In fact, I might be able to get a bonus if she is. I know it's not fair basing a extra money on that, on something that you can't control, but I could probably get my financiers to pay more.
Look, we'll do as best we can to find out what happened to her. But we're not going to promise you that she's still alive. At this point, it doesn't seem possible, but we'll find out. We'll find out for sure, and possibly find out where she is, where she is.
Oh,
We'll get to the bottom of this.
I do appreciate it. He's like going, one other thing that I forgot to mention because I overlooked it. She has been known to many of the immigrants that came in were known to frequent the cafes around the Andreasplatz. Sure you have heard of it in your dealings. Is a notorious nightlife area, known to be frequent with what's the kind word to say it? Ladies of the night.
Yes, we're very familiar. Do you know? Was there a plan when the Romanovs left in exile to reconvene somewhere, or was her ending up in Poland purely coincidence?
It was more of a best option at the time. We had, I'm sure the Romanovs hoped that their cousin King George would have admitted them into the country, but...
Was she alone when she left Russia?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this poor girl was left to flee to another country, and she ended up in Berlin and some of the seedier areas, finding work, perhaps, in the only way she could. Quite tragic.
Well, what can we expect from the godless communists and how they treated people?
She just kind of smirks at him and raises her vodka glass and finishes it and sets it down.
Well, if you can't offer us any more information, then we will begin our work.
Ah, most excellent. Come, one more glass to seal our partnership.
Indeed.
Oh, it's very strong.
Ah, yes, it makes a man out of you.
Last I checked, I was a man. But all right, thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. I hope to hear from you soon.
We shall certainly be in touch. Do you have, is there anything that we can offer on your behalf should we uncover the young woman's whereabouts?
Oh, what, as a indication to her that she's not being tracked by the communist assassins?
Yeah, some token that will indicate that she should consider us trustworthy.
He removes one of his medals that he's wearing. He's like going, I won this in the Russo-Japanese War.
Hmm.
He's like going, present this to her.
Yes, I think that will be unmistakable.
Yeah.
And we'll should if we are so lucky as to find her healthy, this will be very useful. Thank you.
Thank you. And God willing, she will be healthy. But even if we find that she has unfortunately passed on, it will give much peace to her family to know.
Indeed.
Yeah, certainty is important.
So, gentlemen, shall we go and go to our normal spot to discuss these things?
Yeah, let us.
Indeed.
Keeper, was Carl Grossman known to have more than one hidey hole? Is that public knowledge that he had different places that?
I think he was in that one spot for a long time.
He was, yeah. His apartment is the only thing that is public knowledge. If he had other places, then it has not been.
No, not public.
I think that he was like right down the street from the river, and he would just dump the bodies in the river. So they found a lot of bodies floating in the river.
Do we think it's worth visiting his last known residence?
Maybe. I think it's very likely, too, that the young woman may have changed her name multiple times, especially if she's trying to run from communist assassins. Don't you think, Astrid?
Yes, perhaps he offered her protection or something. I'm just thinking of what a poor young girl might do in a foreign city. I'd like to go to the Andreasplatz and speak to some people there. If anyone would care to join me, I'm a little bit buzzed. I've had 2 shots of vodka and quite a lot of beer this evening, so I feel like my tongue is looser than normal.
Well, it's the walking. It'll help us. Is that vodka? It's very strong.
So should we head over now, or do we want to kind of formulate our plans more? Okay.
If we are looking for nightlife, it is night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just getting started.
Very true. Yes,
I enjoy some nightlife. Yeah.
Many of the cabarets are just opening at midnight. All right. So where would you like to head to?
But Astrid knows the area better than any of us. She could probably lead the way.
Headed to the Andreaplatz. All right. So Andreaplatz is near the center of the city. As you head there, you can see the Silesian station, where daily train loads of Poles, Russians, and Jews from the east flee to Berlin in hopes of finding employment. You also many desperate runaways show up here with dreams of stardom, but unfortunately end up in prostitution. And the buildings are permanently covered in a sooty coating that the rain never seems to completely wash away. But 2 blocks north of that, the nightlife is booming. There's many various cabarets open, and the working girls are out strong.
So I kind of go to, I kind of lead them to one of the, kind of common clubs that's out there, kind of middle of the line, not really like, we're the high class, kind of like, auto dicks, like
Yeah.
fashionistas and, people go, but, a little bit more working class, kind of seedy. And they say, this looks like a good place to start.
Right, yeah. So, you show up there, and so you get there, and we'll say you go to the Stork's Nest Cabaret,
Okay.
where it's at. As you go in, there is a lively jazz band playing this new American music that keeps coming over that the Germans are mad about. The beer is flowing well. There's quite a lot of women here that are obviously selling themselves, and off in the corner there is also, of course, the Wild Boys, who were the young teenage male prostitutes that were in the city at the time. As you approach, the doorman goes, he's like, 2 drink minimum.
That is fine. It's very loud.
Yes, Boris, please just let us in. We'll get our drinks. Don't you worry.
Oh,
you good boy.
Oh, Astrid, I didn't see you there. You always are so welcome here. You're always the life of the party.
Oh, yes. And you keep out all the riffraff. I could just kiss you. And she gives him a big kiss on the cheek.
He's like, oh, you're too kind, too kind. One day, maybe I would take you out.
Oh, I would love that. Come, boys.
Come on in. Don't worry about the drink minimum, but with Astrid, I know I don't need to worry about the drink minimum with you.
Yes. I always find some poor chap to buy me all my drinks.
Oh, money is good. He's like going, unfortunately, it's trading. What is it trading now? Oh, 1,300 to the dollar.
Oh, God. Tragic. Absolutely tragic.
It is. But, we only live once, and what a time to be alive.
Indeed. Drink while we're here.
He lets you in. You hear some grumbling of people that were obviously in line, but once Astrid made herself known, that he allowed you to cut ahead. As you go in, yep, it is quite garishly painted. People are up dancing. Some people are openly using drugs, shooting up heroin, and overall quite a festive nightlife.
Wonderful.
Astrid, you know these people, yeah?
Yes. In fact, I see someone I was working on a research project on. I've done some qualitative research with some of these girls. Hold on for just a moment, boys. I'm going to go talk to this one. She's pretty knowledgeable about this area. She may have some information.
Is this like standing room only, or is it are there tables?
There are tables, but none of them are open.
And people are probably dancing?
Yes. Yeah, people are dancing. So that, some of the tables, there's obviously people, some of the dancers are at the table, but the seats are empty right now, but their drinks are still sitting there.
And let's move over by the bar.
Yeah, I'll get the first round.
Astrid's going to head over to a specific person she recognizes in the crowd. So I don't know if you guys want to go first or if I should go first.
Okay. So this specific person, would you say she's a woman of the night? Or
Yes.
Okay. All right. That'll work just perfect. All right. So you come over there and give me a 1d2 and tell me which one you get.
Okay. 2.
All right. So you see Ziva. You recognize her. She's been she's probably getting close to 30, so she's been a prostitute for quite some time, but she has worked this area for a long time.
Ziva, darling.
She's like, Astrid, is that you? Oh, it's wonderful. And she comes over and she gives you the kiss on both cheeks, of course. She's like going, what are you doing out tonight?
Oh, I've just brought along my boys. What are we drinking? And she orders whatever Ziva's drinking.
Absinthe.
Oh, I see. We're chasing the green fairy tonight. Naughty girl.
Oh, it is always the best. It helps you recover from a night of hard drinking the night before. Beware
Yes,
the dog.
and it helps some of the uglier Johns, look a little bit more appealing.
Oh, yes, it is. Well, you know what they say, handsomeness is only a light switch away.
Exactly. Oh, Siva, it's so good to see you. I was wondering if you had heard about the news about the murderer.
Oh, that fiend Grossman? Yes, I heard about him. Lulu was quite happy. She had a run-in with him a year or so ago when he hired her out. Left some nasty scars on her.
Oh.
The world won't miss him.
Yes, absolutely. I'll drink to that.
Oh, yes.
Ziva, I was wondering, I'm looking for a specific girl, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about her, but I'm just wondering if you've seen anything like this, and I hate to be in an imposition. I don't want to ruin your night.
Oh, no. It's never a ruined night when you're around.
Oh, Siva. And I kind of pull her to, obviously there's no real quiet space, but as somewhat out of earshot. And I say, well, listen, I've got a job to find a woman that I believe was working around this area. Now, this would have been a couple of years ago, and I know that you're very familiar with this area, and perhaps you would have seen someone like this around. She would have likely spoken Russian, perhaps Russian exclusively, maybe a little bit of German, maybe high class, like she maybe was born into some money or wealth. She probably comported herself well. The only real description I have of her is that she had strawberry blonde hair. And she was coming from Poland, most likely.
Yeah.
Does that ring any bells?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Would you? Do you know if she had a John that she would have a favorite John she would have met with, or?
Well, it's somewhat privileged knowledge, and I know you know how to keep your mouth shut when need be.
Well, if it's not,
for the right price.
Yeah.
She actually showed up in Grossman's journal. Her name appeared in the journal, and so we think that she may have been somewhat related to this horrible man.
Well, I'll tell you, if she was with Grossman, then you'd have better luck at the Red Mill Cabaret. That's where he liked to take the girls he hired out.
Yes, the Red Mill. That makes sense for him.
Yeah, it's the Red Mill's a little seedier of a place.
Figured. Okay. I see. Well, that certainly points us in a direction. I'm sorry I have to be so vague.
Oh, it's no problem. Please, let's chase the ferry.
Yes. Another round, please.
Oh, nice. Yes. Oh, the investigators headed to the bar.
I suppose so.
First round on me.
Hey, what do you want?
Something to clean the palate after that dreadful vodka.
Like beer, whiskey, wine.
I think a bit of beer.
No problem.
Cleansing beer.
He pours you the beer, and he counts for four. He's like, $4, or he does the math real quick, and or 10,000 marks.
Quickly, we'll buy the beer before it gets more expensive.
He's like, yes, yes. He's like going, I enjoy. He's like going, you guys looking for company?
Well, not really, no.
Oh God. Just know if you need any help that Johan here can hook you up.
Ah, which one is Johan?
Oh, you're very funny. I like you.
Viel Spaß. To your health.
Which one is you on?
I don't know which one is Johan. Gustav, do you know which one is Johan?
I don't know.
We have to get Astrid away from that girl and find out which one is Johan.
Johan!
Yeah, exactly.
Just say it quickly. Go, Johan! See who looks.
The barkeep looks up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Say, Johan, have you heard any interesting rumors lately? Anything anything that might just anything that you think might might be extra interesting, and I'll slide him like 1,000 francs.
Oh, Franks. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, well, he's like going, rumors. He's like going, well, let's see here. The prostitutes are out, but the working girls are out much thicker now that they're being licensed and they're being somewhat protected again now that they've got rid of that monster and all.
He got rid of himself.
Well, he was locked up, of course, and the interesting rumor that's the artists lately have been having rough dreams.
Rough dreams.
Yes, they come in and they order many more shots than normal.
Oh.
Well, I guess with the inflation and everything else, we're all having disturbing dreams.
I
It
have
is.
not slept well. It's true. So when you say that monster, did you yourself meet this Grossman?
If I did, I don't remember him. He didn't live that far from here, only a few blocks south.
Yeah.
That's where they arrested him. I shudder to think of all the Vienna sausages I ate that were on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would shudder as well.
You know what? I'm getting a little tired of beer. Could you make me some drink, something kind of fruity?
Of course. He
Yeah.
turns around, gets a couple liquor bottles, flipping it around, and makes you up one.
So what do we call this one?
This one, sangriast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yes, it is. I'm more of a beer drinker. I could have answered that one much quicker. He's quite a busy man, of course. So he heads back and he's serving others.
So Max, what lines of investigation do you think we should follow now? How are we going to find this woman?
That's an interesting question. It seems that her last known location was Poland before she came somewhere in Berlin, but we don't have an exact location here in the city.
Well,
Astrid kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we know that, a lot of the people who ran from the communist takeover, some into Poland, some into France, kind of a migration. So, yeah, so we got the Poland line, but there's got to be a line also coming from Poland to Berlin.
Do you think there would be like a section that they naturally would migrate to, kind of like a Russian
Yeah. Someplace where there's a lot more
Russian
Russians.
neighborhoods. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of in that area, right? The Andres Platz area, is that kind of the hub?
It's a little way from
Okay.
where it is out. But you do know where the Russian, like Little Russia would be.
I wonder if there'd be records of when she actually entered the area. That she'd be using this Franziska Sansnovsky as some sort of an alias. If we could find out where she lived, and she must have lived near here, yeah? I mean, these girls don't come from a long way away, right?
No.
Astrid kind of saunters over and says, I'm going to get a little bit too drunk if we stay here much longer, but Ziva says that we might want to check out the Red Mill. It's a little bit more of a dicey scene. Are you boys ready?
But we're just going to go ask questions. I don't think we should drink anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the Red Mill was where Herr Grossman used to hang around, and perhaps we'll find more information there.
So maybe they'll have seen her at some point. Yeah, this fruity drink is pretty good. Probably won't be able to remember how he made it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Everyone give me that has been drinking, because you guys have been drinking a lot. Give me a Constitution check.
I failed.
I
missed
got
it
a
by
1.
3 points.
I got a 1.
Same. Yeah, 3 points for me too.
All right.
I got a 1.
Nice. So you've obviously an experienced drinker.
Yes. you do that, being in the
water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just beer,
All right.
Wunderbar. Another.
All right. If you failed, you are your all skill and characteristic rolls will be the difficulties will be increased by 1 level for the next 3 hours as you kind of slur and move a little bit slower. But the good news is you are immune to the first 2 sanity point hits.
Oh.
As
I was planning on being in bed before my next 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's a very funny mechanic to have, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Quick, let's find some Migo while we can take it.
Right?
Bring it
what?
on.
I'm sorry. Well, what?
Would you believe I saw a gigantic cockroach?
It was a fungus, but also had wings.
Yeah,
I must
have been drunk. Yeah, the absinthe.
Yeah.
The green
Yeah,
fairy.
Astrid's already seeing that floating around.
All right, so we go to the Red Mill. Have any of us been there before? Is this place seedy enough that we've avoided it? Is that?
Yeah, it's pretty seedy.
Okay.
Yeah. So Astrid might have been there while she was working with the
purely for research.
Yes,
of course.
Indeed.
So it is about a block north of here. As you're walking along over in the park, everyone give me a spot hidden.
Got a 10.
Nice.
Just made it.
I failed. I got an 85.
That's an extreme for me.
All right, so you're good. Yes. Okay. So as you're walking along, you look over there, and underneath a tree, you see a couple copulating underneath there, out in the wide open for all to see, and you're kind of like, well, the nightlife is picking up.
Decent people would be in bed by now, so.
True.
Perhaps that is their bed, Herr Doctor.
Maybe.
So the directions you get as you're walking along, you see this. You come to a rubbish-strewn alleyway that smells of vomit and urine. You go down a short flight of stairs to a low-ceiling plastered wall, and the maitre d', Eric, opens the door, and he's like going, Pounds are dollars only. No fucking marks.
You got any? You got francs,
Franks?
Gustav.
Yeah,
I got a few left. Sure.
Gustav's paying.
yeah.
Well, he leans in. He's like, Frank's good. All right, yeah. Frank's are good. He's like, oh, no, come on in. And when he looks at the doctor, how are you dressed, doctor?
I'm in a green T-shirt with a hat on. No, I'm dressed like a standard normal person. I don't dress like fancy. I'm retired.
Okay. All right. So as you come in, the place is packed. As you go by, Erica leads you to your seat. The air is positively thick with cigarette smoke, reducing visibility to about 10 feet. There's a small stage off to the left. There is a man up there with a ventriloquist dummy, but it seems that his act has devolved into him just insulting the audience with the ventriloquist dummy, calling them all kinds of horrible names as they yell back at him to get off the stage, and he's garbage, and that he couldn't even get it up for any prostitute out there, and that there's more wood in the dummy than in him. So
It shouldn't be so nice to a little man sitting on the other guy's lap. He's got feelings too.
Clown.
yes. So Erica brings you over. He's like, "What do you want to drink?"
Schnaps bitte.
Schnapps bitte.
Wasser. I need a glass of Wasser.
Auch ein bisschen Wasser, ein Glas Wasser für mein Freund. Ist ein
Water?
Leid. Ja, bitte.
So he, it's $1 each, no matter what unless you get something fancy or whatever that would be in francs. I don't have my conversion.
Oh, no worries. We'll just,
Yeah.
They're not really francs either.
we'll get everybody around,
Yeah.
They're Monopoly francs. It's, he's just getting away with it for this week.
Quite colorful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is money somewhere. Trust me. Just take it.
He's like going, worth more than the mark.
Yeah. Not exactly.
Most paper at this point is worth more than a mark, so we're in good shape.
Oh, you're going to need a wheelbarrow tomorrow.
So when he brings the schnapps,
he goes over and places your order, then he goes back to the door, and the waitress will bring the drinks over.
Okay. Oh, and is she dressed lasciviously?
Oh, yes.
So I'm gonna tip her heavily, and say, I have heard a rumor that this monster, Herr Grossmann, sometimes came here with his victims. Did you see him?
She's like, I did, yeah. He was here. He frequented here quite often. Sometimes he would bring some friends from his apartment building. He would introduce them, but more than often he'd be patrolling, probably for his victims. I mean, the women would come and go. I mean, you figured maybe they were successful, but I fear that they met a untimely end.
So you must feel very lucky that you escaped the snare of this.
Oh, luck had nothing to do with it. I do not sell my body like the women of the street.
Bitte, I did not mean to imply that you are a woman of ill repute on any level. But these are difficult days, and you're a very lovely woman. I'm sure there were temptations. I'm sure you were offered unseemly opportunities that you had to resist. And this man, you did not recognize that he was a fiend.
Yes, I guess it's true. Although his eyes were almost bugged out of his skull. He was just a distasteful distasteful man to see.
Mm. Do you remember any women in particular that he brought here?
Give me a luck roll.
Oh, 56. That is just a success.
All
I
right.
have 61.
Right. Oh, she's like, yes, yeah, I could. I always made note of the women that he brought here. And, and about that time, the guy on stage yells out, he's like, "Hey, buddy, she's not for sale, and besides, you're too ugly for her anyway."
You little wooden man, shut it! Obnoxious.
She's like, yeah, I remember them. Never mind Carl up there. The patrons love him because they can vent their anger on him, and he just seems to take it.
Yeah, I can see the appeal. I'm curious about a young woman with the strawberry blonde hair who was barely an adult a couple of years ago, who is now missing. Did you ever see this Grossman with someone who could match this appearance?
He's like going, I did. You have a name? You mean Strawberry Blonde?
Yeah. Might have been calling herself Sosnowska or Zurmedovska.
Ah, Shamskoska. My Russian's terrible. Shamskoska. He's like going, yes, I do remember her. She would stop by quite often. Haven't seen her in a few years. She stopped coming after she chucked herself into the landwehr and was taken off to the loony bin.
She had the Wahnsinnigkeit, yeah? She had difficulties with her emotional...
Yes, yeah.
And so she took herself away and maybe thus escaped this fiend.
Maybe. Who knows? But I haven't heard good things of what ends up with people that end up in the institute.
Yeah. You were friendly with her then?
I talked to her some. I mean, the local working girls would talk to her more. I don't think that she sold herself.
Do you know anyone in particular that might have been close or an intimate friend of hers?
No, not particularly.
No more so than yourself, for example.
Yes. Yeah.
She had, but you knew. Did she tell you beforehand that she intended to put herself in the loony bin?
No, she didn't talk to us about that. I just heard that from the Lulu. She's one of our regular prostitutes. She was friends with her, much better friends.
Yeah, and is Lulu working tonight?
I haven't seen her. She might be out on the out in the park.
No. I hope that. Thank you very much for discussing this private matter with me. We are hoping to find for her. She has family seeking her. This strawberry blonde, and I hope that we can reunite them. Perhaps I will seek this Lulu. How does she look?
Who's that, Lulu?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She describes it. She's dressed up in she has a peroxide blonde. She's a little bit of a hefty girl. She appeals to a certain taste.
Mm-hmm.
But I think mostly she she'll look good. She's got some scars around her neck.
And I kind of whisper to Otto, I'm pretending to watch the show and be entertained, but I kind of whisper and say she was one of Grossman's victims as well that got away.
Oh.
My dear, I know you have other tables to serve. You said that she was not a working girl. What do you think she did for a living, if you had to guess?
Oh, I don't know. She seemed mostly destitute, and that she lived on her looks and survived on beer for her calories.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to her that she couldn't do that forever. One day her flower will fade.
Did she speak German?
Let me check.
I'm assuming she did just because she was able to
Yeah.
communicate, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
She did. Yes, she did. Yep. She was fluent. Yep. Yes, she spoke very well German very well.
Did she have perhaps a Russian accent? Some type of accent?
She did have a very thick accent. Yes. Now that you say it, it was from the east.
Very good.
The ventriloquist act is ending. As he walks off stage, he tells everyone that they can fuck off and that they're all worthless.
And Astrid claps.
Everyone's like,
I'm very tempted to go over and speak to the little one. I don't know why he stays with this other one. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And so then a disabled veteran comes up. He's got a wooden leg. He's kind of walking on a crutch, and he's like going, "Up next, we have the great escape artist, and he will get out of the chains while you throw things at him. It should be quite entertaining and humiliating."
I want to throw something at him.
Do you think perhaps we should go see if Frau Lulu is out in the park?
The escape artist.
I know, I will have to miss it.
I'm very tired.
Before you're able to, as you're kind of discussing that, suddenly the crowd, you just feel this elation as the door opens, and in walks quite the flamboyant couple. The man has a rather swarthy look that is accentuated by the extensive kohl around his eyes. He wears a brocaded and embroidered jacket with no shirt, gold bangles and rings, and Turkish pants. The woman, who you recognize immediately as Anita Berber, who was quite a transgressive dancer.
Yeah,
she is. She's dressed in a full mink coat and high heels. Around her throat is blood red rubies and sparkling diamonds. She has a baby chimpanzee around her, clutched around her throat, and immediately her just her force of personality grabs all the attention of the audience. Eric comes up to her and goes, May I take your coat, Fraulein?" And she says, "Certainly." As she slips off her coat, there's various gasps and whistles as she is completely naked underneath.
Oh, I saw one of her movies the other day. Oh, it's wonderful to see her in person. She always puts on a show. We have to wait.
Yeah, Astrid, nobody's looking at your movies with rock shorts.
We've got work to do.
She struts over, and she reaches over to kindly stroke Astrid's face, and she goes, "Here, hold my monkey for me," and hands the monkey over to you. Then while she's doing that, the man goes over to the orchestra, plays some music, and then she breaks out into a singing poem. "I came into a garden. The garden was full of orchids, so full and rich. It bloomed alive and quivering. It could not get through the sweet entanglements. I love them madly. They are for me like women and boys. I kissed and taste each one until the end. I'll die red on my lips, on my hands, on my sexlessness that enfolds all sexes. I am but as pale as the moon's sliver. Then she bows, and there's some confused applauding, but she comes back over, and she takes the chimpanzee, and to both Otto and Astrid, she's like, "You two are quite lovely. Come join me at my table."
My pleasure.
Dank, madame.
And she struts quite nakedly in her birthday suit over to the table, and kind of casually shoos the people at the table away, and has a seat. She smiles, and she has a very large gap in her front teeth. So the Hans, Max, and Gustav, now that you've
Apparently
been
we're not
abandoned,
cute enough.
you're not.
Apparently not.
This is what an app of 70 brings you.
Maybe we should come here more often.
I've seen a few of her films, but it's definitely different seeing her in person.
Yeah, beautiful woman. So red hair, beautiful.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not the type she's looking for.
Yeah, me neither. I'm too old. But I hope Astrid and Otto have some fun.
Yeah, I suppose we'll be somewhat close if they start screaming or need our help.
Yeah, if they start taking off their clothes,
yeah, maybe something. I don't
naked
know.
body.
It's like either we need to go get help or just go and don't come back. Anyway, but yeah.
Quite honestly, I think I'm about ready to go. I can make my way home by myself. You can stay if you want to.
Do you think we should, or do you think we should go up
Well,
a different avenue while they
I
check
guess
out?
you were going to go outside and see if you could find the plump, blonde, platinum blonde woman. But I'm getting old, so I'm going to go. You'll convene tomorrow at lunch, okay?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Oh,
And I sort of give a
yeah.
good night to Astrid if she can see me.
Yeah, who's probably enraptured because she's with Anita. and Max, what were you planning on?
I think I was gonna see what Gustav was gonna do, and because I don't think I'm ready to leave and go home to bed just yet. Gustav, do you want to sit and watch this show, or do you want to head outside and see if we can find Lulu?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can look for Lulu and see if anyone's heard about anyone's heard of this Shemkoska or whatever name she was using most recently. And yeah, Lulu, that's a great idea. We'll try to stay not go too far, but of course we want to see around and see who else is here, not just inside.
Okay. All right. So you guys head out and begin searching around for Lulu, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Hans, were you just going to head on home?
I get a cab to take me home.
Okay. All right. That is no problem. Getting a cab. They're quite around here quite a lot.
Yeah.
You head home. All right. Gustav and Max, give me a luck roll to see if Lulu is not ill-disposed.
Nope, not for me. I got an 84.
I made that one. 41 out of 50.
Nice.
Oh, you made that one. Okay, so you're kind of looking around. Gustav, you don't see her at all. Because
No.
I assume you kind of split up, kind of stretch. And Max, you do see a lady of the night that appears to match the description.
Okay. And is she by herself?
Well, she's kind of they're kind of hanging together for safety, of course,
Hanging together,
unless.
Okay. Where is Gustav walked off too far from me, or
Yeah, with
Yeah.
that luck roll, Gustav kind
Yeah.
of.
he's wandered
Yeah.
somewhere? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I will go over to the ladies, and I'll ask. Excuse me, ladies.
It's like,
Would how are you this evening?
well, we are available.
Well, I am looking for someone in particular, actually.
Oh,
I'm wondering if one of you may be this Lulu that I've heard so much about.
and the one you expected. She does look up. She's like, yes, I am. Have you been referenced by one of my satisfied customers?
Yes, I have actually. So
Oh.
I'm a bit nervous. I'm sorry. I've never ventured out this way and this far before.
Oh, don't worry, dear. We're all nervous the first time. It's like I'm a virgin again when I'm with someone with their first time.
Yes. Well, I was hoping that that I might be able to procure a bit of your time if I could.
Oh,
If you're
that's
not.
what I'm here for. The going rate is, of course, what is the mark trading at today? She looks over at one of the signs and she's like, it's about 5,000 marks for a half hour.
Okay. I think I can do that. I don't know how that works, but
It's not illegal, my good friend. Don't be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. As I said, this is my first time making such an inquiry. So if I make any kind of faux pas, I apologize in advance. But I was actually my friends and I, which I know I'm alone.
I was going to say, if you're friends, it's 5,000 each.
I understand. I would certainly not expect any kind of group discount. But my friends and I have been hired actually, and we're looking for someone specific that we believe that you may have met or known, and so I was wondering if you might be able to help me in that regard. I can.
Well, I guess I can. I have to admit, this is one of the more roundabout ways of propositions I've had. But yes, I could help you with that.
Okay. This was someone who hasn't been around for probably about 2 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
She a strawberry blonde, spoke with a Russian accent.
You mean Francesca?
Yes, that is exactly.
Yes. I haven't seen her for a few years. She got locked up.
Yes, we heard that. Do you know where she was locked up?
I do. It is at the Daldorf, which is the local asylum. You would know that.
Okay. Were you really close with Francesca?
Well, I was trying to convince her to join the trade, as she was quite breathtaking, but she seemed to. At first, I thought she was just being nervous, but she seemed to imply that it was beneath her, that she was of a higher class. but
Oh,
she was a sweet girl. It's just it seemed that she didn't know better.
I see. I see. Um, did so as far as work, she must not have had any work then.
She did. She did not. Mostly she had a little bit of money that she said she got from her husband, inherited from her husband when he died,
Okay.
and she was living off that. But I kept telling her that wouldn't last.
Well, I mean,
Unfortunately, the first person I convinced her to go with was that monster.
oh no, that's
Yes.
terrible.
Yeah. So he had paid me quite well.
Wow.
I still
That's-
have the scars, and she kind of pulls her dress aside, and you see bite marks around her. But he paid me 5,000 marks, and that was back when the mark was worth something.
Oh wow.
But he was quite the lover, though. He was unrestrained. Took me out to his garden shed. Had a garden shed that he said he made sausage. First time I ever got sausage in a sausage room.
Oh. What was Herr Grossman like?
He was a man that would need to pay. He was very selfish and very pawing. But
I understand.
I figured he was probably scarred from the traumatic experience.
Yes. Yes. Interesting. But the to so did Francesca did you talk to her after she had her encounter with Herr Grossman?
Yeah, she was quite upset with me. Said that she was unable to earn the money, and that he became quite angry, and that she fled.
Okay.
And it was only through her years that she explained of being able to flee that she was able to get away from him, and he wasn't in the best of shape. Let's be honest.
Yes, that's true. So, do you think that her reason for going to the Daldorf was because of her experience with Grossman?
Oh no, it's because she threw herself into the river. She tried to kill herself. Couldn't
Oh,
deal with the reality of life.
oh. So she tried to commit suicide, and then she was hauled away.
Yes.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
It is. Do you have a room around here or something? Or am I just going to get paid to talk to you, which I am fine with. Let me tell you.
Yes, I think I'm very happy to pay to talk to you.
Oh well, I'm happy to satisfy you however you want. There was many veterans that were ruined by the war, if you know what I mean.
I certainly do, but and this I guess I would know that if for the Daldorf, I would know that if we went there, whether we could actually be able to see patients or not.
You would probably need a doctor with you.
Yeah, I would need a doctor with me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's late at night anyway.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't see patients tonight.
Yeah, they would probably show me to my own room at this point.
Yeah. All right. So let's cut back into the cabaret. So Astrid and Otto, you are sitting with Anita, and she introduces her lover of the time as Droste. That's all she only gives his name as Droste. She doesn't even bother to introduce his full name. And she's like, "Oh, so what brings you here? Just and then she takes her hand. She's got a ring on it. And she dumps some cocaine onto the table, and then she kind of divides it up, snorts a line. Droste snorts another line. There's 2 lines left, and she's like, "Please, please."
Astrid takes a line.
Okay. All right, so you get a bonus to all your fast talk, listen, and spot hiddens for the rest of the day.
I love that fast talk is included in there.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, may I call you Anita? You're such a legend around here.
Oh yes, and please, yes, Anita, and I what is a legend? I am we are only here just flashes in the light, and it's time to enjoy.
So poetic. I especially enjoyed your poem. What was your influence?
Oh well, it was a Merrill Cole. I translated it from his writings and all, and. But yes, it's quite wonderful to meet you, Astrid and Otto. What do you do? Oh, there you got a little right here.
Well, you know, I do a little of this, a little of that, a little of not that, very little of that. You know, I try to maintain interesting friends, and so Fraulein Berber, I'm very pleased to meet you this evening. And I will have a bit schnapps. Will you enjoy a schnapps with me? You have a schnapps?
Oh, of course, a schnapps without any problem. Hey, stop! Of course, the waitress hops to it. You do notice that on her hand, she has a ring on each hand that has shape just like the one that she dumped coke out of.
That's a lot of fingering.
Yes.
Now, the strange thing you will not believe, Fräulein Berber, is that we are here because we are transacting a bit of business with some Russians.
Oh, this is quite tasty. What are you doing with the Russians?
This monstrous, this Grossman.
Oh, he was such the beast. I'd never met him, but he gives me all a flutter. He makes me want to ride Droste right here in the cabaret. He excites me so much.
You know, Anita, he would make a fascinating subject for a film. I know you particularly like your horror films.
Oh, I do. In fact, I'm working on a new dance that maybe I could include it in. It's called the Dances of Vice, Horror, and Ecstasy.
Well, he had the vice and the horror. I don't know of the ecstasy, but you know, we have people here that we have met who have eaten the schnitzel that he made.
Oh, it's just so droll to think about. I mean, it gives you goosebumps and the excitement that it has. I mean, it's just, he was the ultimate transgressive. It was horrible what he did to those people because, of course, they cannot enjoy life anymore, but he definitely thumbed his nose at the establishment.
He was less than human, but he was also, transcendent, right? In his particular way. He experienced things that the rest of us will never know. And
he was, in some ways, closer to your chimpanzee friend here than us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, what's the chimp called?
Oh, my chimp, he is Bobo, of course. He's quite beautiful. And yes, I love what you said there, Astrid. He was closer to the animals than to human. He went back to more of a primeval state. It's a shame that he is dead. We could have learned so much from him.
He might have been worth studying, certainly, as an excellent personality.
Yes, absolutely. I know Dr. Hirschfield would be interested in analyzing him. Anita, you know, I'm wondering, as an artist, you must have spectacular dreams. You must have go into wild fantasies that only us mere mortals could only imagine. I'm wondering if you've had any strange dreams recently.
Oh, my dear, my dreams have been the most vivid recently in the last month. I mean, I've had dreams of what dreams have I had? I've had dreams of just wild acts of animalistic passion, but it's almost like I'm a man with another woman. Of course, I've been with women before, but as a man, never. And then I'm washing my hands and they're covered in blood. It's just unbelievable.
So you have had dreams in which you were some other person than yourself.
Yes, yeah.
That is very interesting. I have had this experience recently, and it's most strange to me.
As have I. I remember vividly stretching my hand out, and it was an old man's hand reaching out towards a woman in a club, much like this.
Oh, my hands were an old man's hand. It's like it makes a word. Come, another line.
Yes.
This is your
We are on the same wavelength. We are on the same wavelength. And
Dostia, you have to have two of these, and I have another schnapps.
Yes,
another schnapps. What the woman in the dream? How did she appear?
Oh, she's appeared as a destitute woman, probably a prostitute. Bless their souls. I miss. I miss them. Yes, they are not sleeping anytime soon.
Oh no!
I always feel for them. They embrace life more. I mean, could you imagine to enjoy the greatest passion of life, the copulation with another individual, and to get money for it? I mean, I do it for free.
Astrid.
Yes, Otto darling.
You dreamt also of a woman, and you were reaching out a hand that was not your own, yeah?
Yes, and the room was red.
The room was red, and she appeared also to be a woman of desperation.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So it's like a radio show. Like we have a Funkel Gesammenheit with the same dream in different places. It's unheard of. This is very good powder you have.
Yes. It is.
But you never met this Grossman, and you never met. Did you know? There was a young woman who came to this club, Francesca. Did you know Francesca?
Oh, was she as lovely and as handsome as you two?
She was almost as attractive as Astrid, and much less battle-scarred than myself. But she was young.
Don't worry. She runs her finger down the scar. She's like going, it adds character. It almost excites me beyond my control. She's like, but if I did meet her, I would have remembered her if she was as beautiful as Astrid.
Oh, you flatter me, Anita. You flatter me.
4 days later.
Yeah. So
investigation continues.
I need both of you to roll a 1d4.
Okay. 2.
3.
All right. So that was how many doses of cocaine you needed to become addicted. So Astrid, you are slightly addicted to cocaine. Otto was able to resist, and the night for you passes. As she talks more hedonistically as the time goes by. Gustav, you're out wandering around looking for Lulu.
I suppose, yeah, I am.
Lost seeking a single prostitute in all of Berlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you are going along, you hear a scream to your left. Not like just a scream of pure sheer terror.
I guess I start rushing towards it.
Oh, you rush toward it, and the couple that was copulating when you guys went to the Red Mill Cabaret, they're the ones screaming, and the guy is screaming. His face is just covered in blood, and the prostitute that he was with, her throat has been bitten out, and you see on his lap her voice box as he essentially ripped it out of her. So give me a sanity roll.
Yeah.
But you're immune to the first two because of your alcohol. No, you pass, so you're not immune to it.
Sober as a judge.
Well, I got a 51 though, so I'm good there.
Okay, so you are fine then. Okay,
Cool.
So it's shocking, but he starts. The guy he's the one that's screaming, like he's in sheer terror.
Okay.
And he's like going, I don't know what happened. Oh my God, I don't know. I just found her like this.
Okay. And does it look like can I see like what must have?
But when he's yelling, his teeth are covered in blood.
Okay, I was to say like that. Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull my baton and I'm like, I'm gonna get up, stop, put her down, get on the ground.
I didn't. I don't understand. I didn't do this. Oh my God. My wife's gonna kill me.
Oh my God! And I'm gonna be like, medics! Somebody, we need a medic over here. Is there anybody nearby, or is it pretty? Not a lot of people at this hour.
No, there's a lot of people about. When someone started screaming, a lot of people kind of ran off, because out of fear and stuff. There's not any medics around, but give me a luck roll to see if there's a cop that hears you.
I got I got a 60, so that passes my 75.
Okay, yeah. So you're screaming and stuff. One of the police officers that was maybe patrolling, he hears you because you're yelling a little bit longer, and he comes rushing over. He's like, "What in the hell?"
He's like, I don't know. I heard a scream and I came, and this poor woman, this man here, he claims he doesn't know what he was doing, but look at his teeth.
Yeah, he gets out. He's like, on the ground. Then he puts the handcuffs on him. He's like going. He's like, man, take your name. We might need to interview you later on this.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
It seems like it's an open closed case, but
yeah, of course. Yeah, I've worked with the police before.
So he writes down your name and everything. Yeah. So
I'll give him like a card. I guess I have a card. Yeah.
Of course, he's going to secure the scene and take a while for the people to come there to collect the cadaver.
Oh dear, yeah. And I suppose I'll have a good story to tell everybody tomorrow.
Yes. So everyone kind of had an eventful night.
Yeah.
You guys go to sleep, and let's see here. Hans, Astrid, and Otto, your night is interrupted again by another sleep. Otto and Astrid, you probably weren't sleeping that deep anyway, as you were as in sleeping at 10 in the morning or whenever you finally exhaustion. It's another dream of a first-person vision. This time it's a sexual liaison with a prostitute in an apartment. The image dissolves to you lying naked in bed while the woman stands in the dormer window, also naked, smoking. As you look down, you see that the body is not yours, but it is of a middle-aged man, overweight, flabby, and venous. And with that, that will be where we close it out.
Excellent. Our players included John Dos Passos, David Gasway, Troy Wheeldryer, Julian Arba, and myself, with Keith Craig as the Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, viel Glück und viel Spaß.
Aufgedeckt, hab ich sie wieder zugedeckt. Da hilft nur aufzustehen und mal was anderes sehen, weil man sonst blind werden kann. So fängt es an. Drum, wenn du Mitleid kennst, mit dem armen Nachtgespenst, dann schließ nicht ab die Tür, nein, öffne sie mir.